Hi everyone, welcome to the 54th episode of the Zicast. As always, I'm your host Ryan Ziax, and today I'm joined by filmmaker Patrick Sorbero.
Hi, everybody.
And we have episode 31 guest Liam Chen, TDing once again.
What's up, guys?
And Patrick, I've been really excited to have you on here. It's been really fun working with you and getting to know you here in your first year at Quinnipiac. So if you don't mind just telling us a bit about yourself.
So I'm a first year film major. I'm from upstate New York. I'm an associate producer for #that Q30's entertainment news show. So yeah, I love everything about the industry. I love Q30. I love working with everybody. That's really it. Do you need anything else?
Well, we'll be getting into the rest.
We'll be getting into the rest.
Which leads us perfectly into our first topic, which is how you become acclimated so quickly to Quinnipiac and kind of experiencing everything it has to offer.
Yeah. So one thing that really drew me into Quinnipiac was Q30. When I was touring a bunch of schools, I had heard about the program and everything that it had to offer. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to come here. So I got involved like as quickly as I could. I went to the media summit when that happened. I think I went and shadowed on the first show for #. And then I think after like in the second week, I was on doing shows, and I think by the third or fourth week, I was a producer. So that was really something that helped me get like acclimated into sort of like the business aspect of doing all this stuff, and just like getting to know people, getting like this little group and people that I get to work with and go have a fun time with every Monday.
Liam and I and Joe and everyone else involved with #, we've all been so impressed with like how kind of like what I said, acclimated you've become to Q30. Like you kind of like know the ins and outs so well as a first year. Like how do you think you caught on so quickly? Like do you have like a film background?
Like not like a like I wouldn't say like a professional background as like Q30 is. I mean, I've done some film work like throughout high school. I've always like been making like short videos since I was like a little kid with my friends and my brother. But I don't know. I think it's just the people that I was around with at Q30. I know MKF and Joe, they're great as EPs. Kind of took me in with like open arms right away. All the other producers, like it was just a very easy environment to kind of get thrown into in my freshman year. So I definitely want to give a lot of the props to Q30 for helping me get so acclimated.
Yeah, and of course I'll get into your like independent film work later on.
Yeah.
But it's great that you're gaining these skills so quickly and really getting off on the right start, which is really like so important to your experience. And since we're talking about film, I'd like to ask you what draws you to film and like what you want to do in the industry.
So I think what draws me to film is just like how open it is, like how creative, like there's really no boundaries with it. You can really just go out and make whatever you want. Like even if you just have an iPhone, like you can, like for the 24-hour film challenge we just did this past weekend, one of the requirements was you have to shoot it on an iPhone. So that obviously limits our technology a ton, but we still came out with a great product. And all it really takes is just some creativity and just some people that really enjoy what they're doing. And I think that's what I really like about the film industry.
Yeah, because you really have like, I know the saying is like you have a movie studio in your phone nowadays.
Exactly.
And everything, like equipment is so accessible. Like even this room, like it's all just like a mix of just like mismatch, just like a mix of like different film equipment that we're using to record this. Like at what age like did you realize like I would want to do film like for a living?
As like a commitment, I would say probably in high school, but I've like I said, I've always been doing like little short videos since I was a kid, and I've always loved doing that stuff. I've always loved making content. But I would say like the time when I knew that I really wanted to do this for a living was probably in high school when I was like within the college search, because at one point I was between this and like sports management. But I think I made the right choice.
So sports management as in like being a manager?
Just like I didn't really have a direct path with where I wanted to go with that if I went down that road. But I really like if I did, I would want to do something like maybe for like a local team to start off, whether that's like on the business side or on like the marketing side and stuff like that.
Interesting, because I know you're a big Carolina Panthers fan.
Oh yeah,
that's actually a good topic in itself. Like what led you to the Panthers?
So it's a funny story. So I used to be a Giants fan because my mom's side of the family is all from like Manhattan and Staten Island. So they're all Giants fans. And I grew up as a Giants fan. My dad is a Raiders fan. He's from upstate New York. I don't know why he's a Raiders fan. But I was playing Madden when I was like 8, and I liked the Panthers black jerseys
Mm.
because they have the black and blue jerseys.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, I just want to keep playing as this team so I can keep using these jerseys in the game. And then it just kind of stuck.
Interesting. They do have some of the coolest uniforms
I do like that.
in the NFL, I would say.
Yeah.
They might be them and the Chargers are probably my two favorite like uniforms in football, and the Vikings as well. I would shout out. Like I'm a huge Steelers fan, and they're up there for me as well. And like there's also the Cam Newton era, which was big when we were really young.
The Cam Newton era was like right as I started getting into it, and then I think like 2 or so years after I became a fan is when they went to the Super Bowl, and then that was kind of like there's no turning back now.
Yeah, that 15-1 season.
Yeah.
You have the vibe of a Panthers fan. I don't know how to explain
Unfortunately.
it. No. I mean that in a good way, because I met other Panthers fans, and I see some overlap there.
Gotcha.
What other teams are you interested in?
So I'm just in New York for everything else. I love the Yankees. I'm a huge Yankees fan. I would say baseball is my main sport. And then Rangers for hockey. I don't really watch basketball, but I'd say I'm a Knicks fan because I'm from New York. But that's really it. Panthers are kind of just the outlier.
Interesting. And how are you feeling about them going forwards? I know Bryce Young's back in and he's playing well.
It's tough to be optimistic with how they've been the past couple of years, but I think they have a young roster. I think they have some great young coaches. So hopefully we'll have to see we'll have to see what happens. I know Bryce Young's been playing good the past couple of weeks since he came back off the bench, but we'll see what happens. I'm excited though.
Yeah, I am rooting for him.
Yeah.
It's a tough situation. Yeah, he's fun to root for. Yeah. He's got like some of the cutest little performances you'll ever see.
Yeah, he gets
big infectious smile.
He gets a lot of hate, but I'll be his supporter.
Yeah, it's also tough for him getting drafted.
Yeah.
Around C.J. Stroud and how good C.J. Stroud's become, but it's all about him becoming his own player. So kind of moving onwards with film, we filmed The Other Side of Goodbye, your short film.
We did.
But I'd like to kind of reach broader and ask you like other personal projects you want to create here at Quinnipiac.
I haven't really thought going forward. I know I obviously want to. So my friend Tyler and I, who worked on the project together, he and I, we didn't know each other before school, but we kind of met like right away through all like the orientation sort of stuff within the first week. But we wanted to set this goal for ourselves to create at least one short film per semester. So I don't really have any like creative ideas going forward yet. But we want to definitely work on some a lot of projects. Some stuff I've done in the past. In May of 2023, I worked on like a psychological horror film with just my friend and my other friend. It was just the three of us. We did it over like a couple days at my house, and that was really fun. It turned out really well. But that was fun, yeah. And then in sophomore year of high school, I took a film class with my friend that I worked on the other short film with, and we just made like a bunch of like stupid comedy stuff, just like stuff for fun, like little spoofs. That's sort of how I like really started ramping up with film though, and then obviously we can see how it snowballed.
The independent film scene is booming.
Yeah.
Especially with the kind of interesting state that Hollywood's in right now.
Yeah.
I feel like people are looking for very original voices, and
that's my favorite. That's one of my favorite parts about the industry, because just the independent aspect, like you can just go and create whatever you want. You're not really restricted by these like major companies like giving you a deadline for something, or like having to have certain things in your movie. You can really just go and just make whatever you want. Obviously, we're very lucky here to have the vault and just get all this equipment for free. So our movie was like literally a $0 budget, and it turned out great. We finished up last night, so yeah, it's just really fun.
Yeah, it kind of echoes like what we talked about with equipment being so accessible these days, and to be able to go out and make something, write something of your own, because especially while you're here and while you have these resources, it's something that you really should cash in on, and that's something I really want to do with my remaining time here, is to try to make more personal projects and try to really branch off and just try to create more things of my own in my own vision. Like and also you bring up like horror and comedy. I feel like those are like the two genres very much tapped into with independent films. Like I feel like they're very similar in ways, like on different extremes, horror and comedy. If that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. They definitely are. But I think it's also good to have that sort of range and get a little taste of all these different genres and see what you kind of fit into best. Because obviously these directors, like these famous directors, have their own sort of like style and their own sort of genre of movies that they make. And I think it's really fun being able to explore all these different genres as I'm moving through my path in film.
Definitely. And what kind of films would you say you want to make?
I'm not super sure. I really like films that make you think.
Hmm.
Like this, like my psychological horror film. The plot of it is, it's based on the Mandela Catalog, which is a YouTube horror series.
Hmm.
Um, but the main character gets like an alert on his TV
Hmm.
about like these people that are running around that look like you, like a
Hmm.
doppelganger almost. Um, and so the premise of the film is you don't really like know what's happening, and that's sort of like what I want to invoke in audiences when they watch the film, and that's sort of what the other side of goodbye is about too. Like you don't really know
Hmm.
what's going on until the end. So I
Hmm.
really like making stories that sort of echo off that.
Very interesting that like have a sort of interesting concept that like is more like you said kind of psychological in a way
Yep.
with the other side of Gazai, as I call it, since with my involvement. Like yeah, it was very like Good Will Hunting
Yeah,
when I was reading it. So I
definitely.
wanted to. That's why I sent you that picture of Robin Williams
Yeah,
and
that's
Matt
definitely
Damon.
one of the inspirations I had in mind when I was creating your character.
Yeah, and I was like, I really got to tap into this. I
Yeah,
really need to lock in, and that was so much fun.
yeah.
And kind of moving onwards, I'd like to ask you, really what you seek to accomplish in your time at Quinnipiac. I know it's your first year, and
Yeah.
there's so much more to do and ways to grow. But
So I think maybe short-term goals. Obviously going to finish out the year with Q30.
mm-hmm.
I think maybe next year I'll see if I can EP for hashtag because I know
mm,
Joe and MKF are leaving. There are
mm,
EPs right now, and I
mm,
know all the other producers are also on their way out.
mm.
So it's gonna be a pretty empty cabinet. So there's gonna be some roles to fill, and I'll see if I can step up and do the job there. That's short term. Long term, obviously, gonna get gonna get my degree. I want to try and apply for bachelor's in fine arts because
mm.
currently I'm enrolled just as a bachelor in arts. Um, but yeah, that'd be really fun. I get to have more experience in the industry. Maybe try out Q in LA. I know you went there.
Yeah.
Liam went there.
Mm-hmm.
That's really interesting, but it's a long way away. So
Yeah, definitely. I would highly encourage you to go for executive producer of hashtag that because that's just something. Of course, it'll be a great learning experience for you, but it'll also be something to put on your resume.
yeah,
That's one thing that Q30 will really give you is just a
definitely,
lot
yeah,
of great resume boosters
yeah,
and a lot of job titles that sound really nice, which is very important. And yeah, especially like I don't know if people are hearing the ambient sounds of toilet flushings and rain dropping while we're here, but it adds some ambiance.
definitely,
And overall, though, that's exciting things to hear. Like sometimes I forget that like first years don't have like declared majors yet all
yeah.
the time. That's just something I forget about. And my time now as an onc, as a grown man. But yeah, that's great, incredible to hear about. And I'm so excited because a lot of things I feel like that you'll run into, you don't expect you'll run into.
Exactly.
Like I feel like semester to semester, my time here, like it's never gone the way I expected it to.
Yeah.
But it's always been really, really cool, and I really learned a lot.
Yeah.
But speaking of learning a lot, I want to get to learn more about you. And I'd like to ask you, what are some things that people might not know about you, like fun facts?
Um, let's see. Well, a lot of people know this about me, like at home and my family. Sorry, but I am an artist.
Hmm.
I love to draw.
Mm-hmm.
That I feel like that's something that not a lot of the Q30 fam might not know.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah,
Interesting. Like, what do you like to draw?
I do a lot of comic book art.
Hmm.
So a lot of like superheroes. I like doing Invincible.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I've been drawing since I was
Hmm.
6 or 7 years old. So yeah, it's one of my favorite hobbies. Just very easy to get lost in it and pass the time for a bunch of hours.
Think, Mark. Think. Well, yeah, that's great. I mean,
That just came out of nowhere and totally surprised me. That was
yeah, it's,
hilarious.
I keep everyone on their toes.
Of course.
Play the sound effect.
Wait.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Wait, which one? Oh wait, I gotta turn it up. You guys couldn't hear that, but that was the womp womp.
Womp womp. That's a good one. Yeah, we have sound effects
Yeah.
now. We're really leveling up here.
Yeah.
But that's incredible at drawing. It's kind of like creative writing in a way. It's like an artistic hobby
Yeah.
that's very easy to do. Like you don't need cameras or equipment or other people. It's just something you can do on your own time to
Yeah.
unwind. Do you have any other things in that regard that you use to like sort of keep like the creative juices flowing, but something that's very like easy to do?
Um, So I'm a very hands-on person,
Mm.
as you can see from like art. Recently I've started doing. They have these like metal kits, that you can get, like craft kits. They're called Metal Earth, and it's just
Mm.
like the sheet metal, and you snip out these like pre-cut pieces,
Mm.
and you have to like build these little kits. And I've got a bunch of ones. I got 3 like Transformers ones, which were
Mm.
really fun to build. Um, and yeah, because I'm just like very hands-on oriented. Like I always need to be doing something with my hands.
Mm.
But yeah, it's just like a really nice output, to be able to just like craft and make some art and just be proud of like something that I made.
Mm. Do you draw anything else like besides comic book art?
I used to do a lot more pencil sketches,
Hmm.
but I mostly just did like portraits of like characters from like movies and shows
Hmm.
and games and stuff like that. I'll send you my page after the episode.
Oh, that's hype.
But yeah, I wanted to sort of get back into that just because the past like almost year now I've just strictly done like comic book art, which has been really fun though, because it does look really clean. And I've also been getting into like digital art. So I went to SPB Bingo in like October and just won an iPad.
Oh my god.
And I ordered like a cheap like Apple Pen for it. So I've just been doing a bunch of digital art, and that's been really fun. I feel really lucky to like have won the bingo because iPads are expensive.
Yeah. Welcome to Quinnipiac. Yeah, you're getting an iPad right off the bat. You're starting off strong.
Yeah.
And I bet you'll make a mean storyboarder someday if you choose to go that route with your films.
Hopefully, yeah. That'd definitely be fun.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know if that's a lost art. It's like I've never really, with anything I've worked on, seen people like storyboard.
Yeah, I tried doing some storyboards for Other Side of Goodbye, just for like some scenes. But I have like such a short attention span for like some of that stuff. Like if I was drawing like a character, I could sit there for like 5 hours and just crank it out. But storyboarding the movie, like I'm very visually oriented when it comes to filmmaking, so I kind of already knew like how I wanted every shot to look. I really shot it to edit. So I really didn't feel like storyboarding was really worth it. Like halfway through it, I was just like, I don't really need to be doing this.
Yeah, it's a lot of extra effort, especially because like, in my experience, it really is kind of up here a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But I feel like that is an interesting thing. Like there's some directors, I forgot if it was Alfred Hitchcock, as you can hear toilets in the background, like that would basically storyboard like the entire film.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, everyone just operates differently.
Yeah, it definitely works for some people. It definitely works for some projects differently than others. Like, I mean, like a Marvel film, you definitely have to storyboard because you have these big like fight sequences. But a film like the one that I made, I kind of knew how I wanted it to look.
Yeah, especially like all the visual effects and things like
Definitely,
that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something you'll tap into as you move along. Maybe you'll like see more of a value in storyboarding since you have those skills.
There's definitely value in all of pre-production. I mean, we spent like 3 weeks doing pre-production for this short film, and we shot it in 3 days. So you can see like how important it definitely is. I mean, I was sending everybody call sheets like 3 times a week, but
that's a good thing. I was very impressed by how profesh your shoot was.
I definitely learned a lot from the QFS shoot. Because I wasn't on set for that, but I'm an editor on the QFS project. Yeah. So I definitely learned a lot from like how to format like call sheets and shot lists and stuff like that. That was really some really great experience.
Really in the way that like the industry works, like an actual set. Yeah. We'll have a call sheet, we'll have a shot chart.
Yeah, it definitely does help to get more organized. And it was fun too, because there was a lot of like empty space. I would just put in like little funny messages for everybody if they actually looked at it.
Yeah, I looked at it and I saw like I forgot it was makeup, and it says "You look beautiful, Ryan Ziax," and it warmed my heart. Yeah, it made me so happy, extra happy to go to set that day.
That was exactly my intent.
And it really paid off. Yeah, and and that's just great practice to have now when you're like doing projects on your own, because now you'll be familiar with those processes, and then when you step on to professional sets as a PA or whatever, you'll kind of know everything that's going on. Yeah. So you say that you love drawing, which leads us well into our next topic, which is one thing you love and one thing you strongly dislike.
One thing I love is space. I love like everything about it. It's just so interesting to me.
You did survive the Big Bang.
I did survive the Big Bang. I don't know. It's just I don't really know what it is about it. It's just like there's a lot of mystery behind it. There's a lot to explore. Not that I'll be up there exploring it, but I just love learning about it. I don't know. There's not much to it. It's just really interesting to me.
I mean, Tom Cruise will be filming a movie in space, if I'm not mistaken.
That doesn't surprise me.
So that there could be an avenue for you to film,
maybe
to film.
Maybe I'll be an astronaut cameraman.
Yeah, the other side of Good Zai too.
Yeah. in space.
in the stars.
Yeah, exactly.
And for one thing you dislike.
One thing I dislike, loud people.
Hmm.
I never understood that. Just
Hmm.
there's really no need to just be loud.
Yeah.
It becomes a nuisance.
So you should probably stay away from Quinnipiac tonight, is what you're telling me.
Maybe not, but like I don't know, when I'm like just sitting like in my room and then I can hear people in the hallway just like screaming. It's just be peaceful. Be nice and quiet.
Yeah, yapping can be irritating.
Yeah.
In regards to Quinnipiac Tonight, I meant that there's a lot of loud extroverted kids.
I know, but
best kids you'll ever meet, but they're loud extroverted.
I mean, I know
kids.
a lot of the Quinnipiac Tonight staff and everybody's lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Time and a place.
There is exactly, Liam. Perfect. And this leads us well into our next topic, which is, what are some of your hopes and dreams, professionally or in general?
Hopes and dreams. Well, I would say one dream is obviously to maybe direct like a Hollywood film, something that I'm like really interested in. Which obviously that's a big stretch because it's hard to get into the industry. Film is like one of the hardest industries to get into. You really have to know a lot of people, which is why I'm really grateful for all this time, like in Q30 and on QFS. I know in QFS, like you get an IMDb credit.
Yeah.
So that's great on a resume. It's great for connections, but that would definitely be something I would really enjoy doing, just like directing a film that I'm really passionate about for the big screen. But hopes, obviously, I want to get into the industry, whether that's like a really small part or wherever I can like squeeze my way in. That would really just be awesome. I think that's a more reasonable and more probable hope to have than directing a Hollywood film, but that would definitely be awesome.
Yeah, you never know. I acted in the fall production last year, and I do have an IMDb credit.
Yeah.
The Zicast exists on IMDb.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell people that's my real LinkedIn.
Yeah.
It is my IMDb page.
Yeah.
It will be interesting to see where Hollywood goes. The hope is that it kind of goes back to more original films and things like that. But as long as you keep working, you never know where you'll go. And you talked about how it's about who you know. It's about who knows you, really.
Yeah.
And a lot of people I worked with, like in Los Angeles, I remember I had one of the people I work with at 7 at Keys in Los Angeles who's told me that, he's been working like in Hollywood for a while. He said that he's never gotten a job off a resume.
Yeah.
It's always been like word of mouth, like people he knew.
Yeah, it's huge in this industry.
So it's really just building up your skills and just being reliable, which I think is one of the most important things. It's just being someone who people can count on.
Yeah. And you never know who's watching in this industry. Like there's a lot of I would say like hidden figures in this industry who could just give you a job one day, whether they just hear your name or they go online and see something you've worked on. You might not even know them, but that could be who gets you the big spot. So you never really know.
Exactly. And that's why it's great to like build up those like online portportfolios, like the Zicast Productions YouTube channel.
Exactly.
That I'll plug right now. It's where I'm post my stuff.
I need to get started on my online portfolio. Definitely.
Yeah. It's a great thing. You just throw it up on YouTube. Like Joe and I talked about on here his film, A Ripple, that got like 15,000 views.
Yeah, I still need to watch that.
Which is like really, really cool. And it's just like to get that kind of exposure so quickly and so easily, it's really helpful for what we want to do. And to kind of backtrack a bit, do you mind telling us a bit more about your fandom of space?
So I grew up with Star Wars. Like my dad threw me, instead of watching like The Lion King when I was a kid, my dad sat me in front of A New Hope when I was 5. So I would say maybe that's where it stems from. But I don't know. There's just so much mystery about space. I love like it's just there. Like it's just kind of there, and that's always been really cool to me how that's able to occur so naturally. And I love all the planets, and like I love learning about all the fun facts and like everything that we don't really know, but black holes are really cool. Stuff like that.
Do you believe in aliens?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
With how vast it is, there have to be out there somewhere. There's probably, my theory is there's a planet out there somewhere in space with an alien that looks exactly like you, which I think is really cool to think about.
I agree. That's what I've always believed. Like there's so many planets, there has to be some with other life.
All there has to be is like the conditions similar on Earth and the way evolution takes its course. Some planet out there has to have some aliens that look like us.
Yeah. So I was asked like what conspiracy theories do you believe in? I feel like aliens aren't really a conspiracy theory, right? Aren't they like semi?
Yeah, I mean, I would say like the government, how having aliens is more of the conspiracy theory. I don't know how much of that I believe. I feel like I'm very grounded. Like I don't really believe in a ton of conspiracies. I like to, because I like to just research a lot of things. I go down these rabbit holes where if I'm like interested in a topic, I'll watch like a 3-hour video essay on it, and I feel like that keeps me a little more grounded and not down like the conspiratorial route.
Yeah,
that is giving me an idea though. If we do find alien life and they're similar to us, we got to get Ryan Zayaks and Brian Zayaks from a different planet on and do that episode.
Episode 3 million.
Yeah, episode 3 million, episode zillion.
We got to cryo freeze Ryan Zayaks so that we can do that in the future.
That would be insane. I mean, everyone has a story.
Exactly.
An alien is everyone, so we could get to know them.
Exactly.
That would be perfect. Imagine asking an alien their fun facts.
They probably wouldn't even speak English, but I'm sure by then we could translate.
Yeah, we get a translator. That would be sick.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Do you have any personal goals on this note as well?
In what sense?
Like,
just in life or
just in life? Yeah.
I don't know. I would say like be successful, but I feel like success sort of comes where you want it to. I mean, if I was able to get into the industry, and even if that's just like a small role, I feel like I would consider myself successful because that's what I want to do. You know, I don't need to be the Hollywood director who has $50 million. But as long as I'm doing what I enjoy, then I feel like that's my success right there. So that's my personal aspirations.
Yeah. Success is subjective,
exactly.
I would say.
Exactly.
And it changes as you age, I would say. Like, certain things you want now, you might not want years from now when your life changes and your goals kind of evolve over time. So
I mean, when I was a kid, I was like, I'm gonna be this rich YouTuber. I'm gonna live in a mansion with all my friends. But now it's just like, as long as I'm doing what I love, I consider myself successful.
Yeah, that was really the thing back then when YouTubers were becoming really big. But it's really just like, I know the Zicast, I treat the Zicast as like a time capsule. So I think when you look back on it, it'd be interesting now as a first year versus when you're a senior versus when beyond your time at Quinnipiac. Yeah. And we've been talking about movies, of course. So I'd like to ask you, what are some of your favorite movies?
My favorite movies. We could have a whole episode on this one.
Yes.
I love Lord of the Rings. They're like my all-time favorite movies. I know, like I go down these rabbit holes. So you can imagine how much of like the history because it's a whole world. I mean, like there's so much, thousands and thousands of years of history that was created for it. So I know a lot of that. I taught myself how to write in like the Elvish alphabet.
Wow.
So I can just like, I can't speak the language because it is its own language, but I can like phonetically translate into the writing. Which I guess I'm a nerd for that, but it's just, I love those movies so much.
That's sick though. Yeah.
Other movies, I love the Batman, the new one with Robert Pattinson. I would say that's my favorite movie, and then Lord of the Rings is like my favorite like world. I love Dune. I love Star Wars. I grew up on Star Wars. That was like my first sort of series. And then Dune is like kind of like the books are kind of what made Star Wars. So I love learning about that like world and history as well. Fight Club is really good. That's a great movie. Sort of off genre from the rest of them, but
yeah, it's why you have Tyler Durden sitting right here next to you.
Exactly. Episode 55, or what is it?
This is episode 54. Episode 55 will be Tyler Durden. Yeah. I mean, I would have him on, but there is something in the way.
It'll just be like me again.
Yeah, you're just in a different spot. But I don't know if
it'll be Tyler and John Cena.
Tyler and John Cena in the same episode.
Yeah. Be a little one-sided conversation.
Ryan talking to nobody.
Yeah. It'll just be me, and it'll just cut, and it's just nothing there. And overall, Patrick, I'd like to just thank you for coming on here today. Of course. This was so much fun. I know I respect the persistence you had in wanting to come on. You made sure to keep me in check.
Yeah, I know. I really wanted to come on the Zicast ever since I heard about it.
And I'm really appreciative of you watching and, of course, coming on. And is there anything you'd like to leave the audience with before we wrap things up here?
I don't know. Just do what you love. Love yourself. I feel like that's the key to happiness.
Awesome. And that's a great message to leave people with. And it's been so great getting to work with you. It's like you're like a real life That 70s Show character.
I've never seen that.
It's an awesome show. Liam kind of is like one too.
I am. I didn't know that. In what sense? Well, I guess I look like I came out of the 70s with my leather jacket.
It's like a vibe fit.
Vibe fit? Yeah.
With That 70s Show.
That. Yeah, definitely. I feel like we've definitely... It's interesting because everybody here is at like different stages in, their college career in life, but we kind of all come together in a way to, you know, create stuff, which I think is super cool. And yeah, it's definitely it's been awesome doing this stuff with you guys.
Yeah,
still is.
It still is. As we're ongoing, yeah, it's fun collaborating with you. Being around like very bold, driven, ambitious people is really my goal, and I'm glad to find one in you to work with you. And I'm excited to work on more projects and continue to grow as filmmakers and as people before I wrap up my time here and you continue yours. So thank you for coming on. And as always, this is Ryan Zicast with the Zicast, where everyone has a story. Signing off. Thank you so much for watching.